The NAFTA Podcast.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
NAFTA Podcast, I believe it's episode 37. I think, Michael, you, Dylan, and Nick handled 36 last episode. I'm back from Florida, back from the great state of DeSantis. That's a joke.
The sanctimonious,
the sanctimonious, yeah. And it's just me and Michael. It's the OGs. It's the pod originators coming together to chat. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, nothing happened soccer-wise over the weekend, right?
I don't think so. Everybody lost. All the good teams lost.
No, I meant no. There's no big headlines. There's no big news coming out of the world of soccer.
None.
It's quiet in the streets.
If only we could have held the last pod for one more day.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But it is better that I'm on it, that we can talk about it. Obviously, we're going to talk about Man City a little bit later. There's one game midweek. Who does the scheduling, by the way? United has to play Leeds back-to-back 3 days in between. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's because the rest of the schedule is just going to be insane. This is the only off week, but we also have 2 games we have to play too. So I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, it's just weird that that's where they decided to fit it in. So we're going to get into that one game. Michael, I do want to ask a quick question. I think we spoke about it before, but just want to get on pod. Do you have Wrexham fever?
No, I picked Sheffield United to win, so I definitely do not.
There's a lot of weird statistics that have popped up on Instagram and whatnot, though, about how there's so many people following that team now just because of obviously Ryan Reynolds and
you're just like the media, man. Everyone remembers Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I know, that's fine. But yeah, it's crazy. I also obviously follow some very niche soccer accounts, and there's a couple really, really butthurt people, and rightfully so maybe, but that they were do I want to support a lower league local soccer team in my neighborhood type shit? No, I'll go pick a 4th division Welsh team to put my support behind. The Cleveland SCs of the world, the Detroit City FCs of the world type people.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool story because not every place has the history of Wrexham and has all this kind of built-in appeal, and that's one of the reasons that they chose Wrexham to do this with, which
for sure.
It's kind of if you were one of those other teams that they had picked, it kind of sucks for you that you didn't get chosen. But I think with all things, the bigger they get, the less people will actually, stick with them and stuff like that, if I'm being honest.
The bigger they get, the more haters they'll get too.
For sure.
Yeah. Cool story though. The what is it? The FX series, pretty sick. Also, speaking of series, I think Nick sent it in the group chat. This Newcastle United All or Nothing is going to be pretty sick.
Yeah. Just to see them kind of. I don't know. Is it because there's nothing really that crazy intense has happened? They've just been playing really well with reasonably bought people.
Yeah, but I think I'll be interested to see obviously it's been a meme now, and our podcast jokes about it all the time. I'd be interested to see how Eddie Howe coaches, because we talk about Mikel Arteta's halftime speeches all the time. So to be able to just see how he approaches it and how they've been successful for sure. But it'd be nice if they grabbed a couple wins instead of these draws here and there. Actually, it wouldn't, because they're right behind me. But
you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, once we get our 20-point deduction, who cares? I'll be hanging out with you. But yeah, I always like all or nothing. It's always a pretty sick setup. All right, I belabored the point far too much. Let's talk about the one game that did happen. Manchester United 2, Leeds United 2. You're going to hear some names in here that we haven't heard in a while, which will be interesting. But first minute, Wilfred Nyota opens up the scoring. He had an assist from Patrick Bamford, a number one name we haven't heard in a minute. 48th minute, Rafael Varane had an own goal that gave Leeds a 2-0 lead. Rashford, a name that we hear far too much for Michael and my liking, with the first goal back for Man United in the 62nd, and it was assisted by Dalot. It was a header goal. And then the 70th minute, just 8 minutes later, Jadon Sancho back on the score sheet to share points with Leeds, a managerless Leeds. Michael Skubala was their sitting manager for this game. Nonetheless, new manager bounce, and Leeds picks up a point against the United team that you and I hate to admit this, but they've been playing pretty well.
Yeah, I think they were. I mean, this is pretty much full strength United too, right? Like they didn't make very many changes, if any at all.
Nope.
I know Garnacho started, right? I don't
Yep.
know if he's like going to be every day when Sancho comes back, but he hasn't been there. So I guess at least right now he's been the starter. Yeah, I think McKinney played. I know. He played with Tyler Adams. I know Sinistera just got back and then just got injured again. And then Strook got hurt too early. I think if you're Leeds, you're pretty upset though, given the situation you were in. If you're 2-0 up, you kind of want to see this one out and get the win, obviously.
Dude, I think that this game is basically a microcosm of what it's like to be a Leeds fan right now. If you started off the season being like, or start off this game being like, you're going to get a point, they'd probably like stoked, love it. But then you go 2-0 up.
For sure.
And then you're just like, oh, we didn't get all three. We got a point. Like, I feel like that's kind of what the Leeds United life has been lately, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure. Like, obviously, going into the game, you can say that. That's exactly not being a dick, but that's why I literally said, if you're 2-0 up, you want to win this game. Like, they wouldn't have taken that. They wouldn't be like, we want to win this game tied 0-0. But the fact that they were 2-0 up at the half, pretty much, I think they're probably a little bit upset that they couldn't hold the lead. But, I mean, if you look at the numbers, which is only part of the game, but still, looking at the numbers, United was like well around the goal most of the time. So, what are you gonna do? I think they're fine. Plus, it's at United. I think it's an important draw. It'd be crazy if they, this weekend they got a point or two or three. I guess you can't get two, but a point or three, at Ellen Road. But we'll see.
Yeah. I think it brings me to my only other point for this game, truthfully, and it's what I mentioned before: Leeds United without a manager. Was Jesse Marsch rightfully fired? Was he successful? Is he going to set American coaches back a century for what happened? I'm just pulling any headline that I've seen, whatever. Like, what's your take on Jesse?
I don't think he could hold U.S. managers back because he's the longest serving Premier League U.S. manager. So I don't think he could have done that. I think if you're just looking at results, they're probably well within their right to fire him, or within reason at least. I think what we mentioned, like Bamford hasn't really been playing, and he's back now. Sinistera was back; he hadn't been playing really. They just got Noto and the other guy who came on, who's a striker, that they just brought in, I think, recently. So I think where I saw some people talking about it, if you're Marsh, you're probably thinking, I just got some guys in finally, and some guys are coming back. Like, let me do it now, and to kind of get the boot after that. It probably hurts worse than maybe it would have if you just had a bad run of form and they're like, all right, listen, your time's up.
Yeah. I was talking to a couple different different like accounts on Instagram about this, soccer accounts that are American based, and just chatting through it. I think it's really sucks that he got the boot so close to signing Wes. Like, that didn't make sense to me. Like, it was almost like he had one game with Weston McKennie to be like, all right, turn this shit around, brother, or you're gone. But I do think that this Leeds team is actually a enticing project if you're a coach without a position right now. I think they have some talent. This Nyota guy, Wilfred Nyota, is going to be a striker in the Italian system for a lot of years coming up. I think that Tyler Adams is a really, really good player. I think that you can sell Bamford and turn it into some younger guys. I think the defense sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not very good. I think actually Melier is a pretty good keeper, all things considered.
Yeah. I think Melier is a really good keeper, things considered, since he has to stop 35 shots a game, it seems like. Who do you think steps into this?
Fuck, I don't know, man. I don't know anything about, like, I know, like, the top guys for the most part, but,
yeah,
I mean, they're not bringing Bielsa back.
Let me fire off some names. Does Poch take this job?
Fuck no.
No, right? Not a chance. Hasenhüttl.
Maybe.
I think it's a good fit if they survive. I don't think Ralph wants to step in and try to save this team. But I think if they survive and they're in it next year, I think that's a great fit.
Well, think in terms of him, though, like, going from Southampton, where they are, to Leeds right now, it would be, I think if I'm him, I'm taking it in a second.
Yeah, I think it's a step up for sure. Can they poach anyone who is sitting mid-table that, maybe this makes more sense for? Like, can they take Marco Silva? Does he leave Fulham?
No. You're an idiot if you do.
Okay. So Marco Silva's out. Dude, I'm right there with you. I don't know who else is out there. Sam Allardyce. That's maybe who they get for the end of this year.
That's so like, I used to be a Allardyce hater, but I somewhat respect, like, the necessity for that type of play sometimes.
Yeah.
God, it's so the antithesis of Leeds, though.
Can I? So this is where I think American sports and, like, the Premier League don't really meld and mesh. When the whole Lampard thing was happening and David Moyes, they're, like, basically gonna switch teams at some point, was a rumor. Does Moyes take over this team if he gets fired?
If he gets fired,
right? That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, because, like, for instance, right, Marco Silva's not going to get fired. So you're basically asking Marco Silva to leave Fulham.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
If Moyes gets fired, I could see him taking this job. I don't think he's going to get fired, though.
Do you think they offer it? Do you think they offer it to him, though?
I don't know, because sometimes it takes a second for, like, somebody gets fired, they're not just, like, immediately want to get into another job, so he might turn it down in that case.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like, for some reason, I guess I'm not looking at my phone right now. I don't know where Leeds are in the table.
I could tell you.
But I feel like they're
Leeds,
not that bad.
Oh, bro, they are.
Are they?
They're in 16th, and they are a point above the relegation zone.
Oh, shit. Okay.
That's what I'm saying, too. If they fire him, they have to hire someone. You can't ride out the end of a season that close to the relegation zone with a caretaker.
Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah, I agree. And that also, I guess, answers our other question. Did they have the right to fire Marsch? Because if that's the case, then yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all right, so let's go from the American angle with this. I have a hot take, and I'm glad Dylan's not here to have to, see me say this, because it's going to be ugly. Is Jesse Marsch just an average coach, to be honest with you?
Yeah. I was pretty high on Leeds at the beginning of the season because they brought in a lot of quality players, and I thought that it was one of those situations where there's so much quality that it just doesn't matter. and they'll just there'll be a certain level of success, and they won't have to worry about getting relegated, right? But I'm pretty sure I was one of the first people when he got hired that was like, based on what? Like, based on what he did with Salzburg? I mean, come on, man. Like,
I think he got fired from Salzburg too, didn't he?
I don't know. If he got fired from Salzburg, even more to my point.
Yeah.
Like, was he really the guy from the beginning? And I think I was not the one, but one of the people maybe who said he wasn't, like, I don't see the point in doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, hot take. Get my guy Will Still in there from Rem. The guy that was playing Football Manager.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that dude's awesome. Do you see the video of him talking in French and English?
Yeah, but don't get enamored with that. That's what we thought Jesse Marsch was so good at his job, because he was speaking in German and English, talking about fucking people up, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Like that type of shit. So.
But also, like, he's and hasn't lost the game in like 11 matches.
Yeah, 12 now, and tied PSG, and they have like an even goal differential from starting like way back. I don't know. I think Leeds. I do think Leeds is a good job. I think there's a lot of talent there. I just don't know who you give it to. Yeah. All right. Why don't we dive in to our predictions for the week? It's a full slate of games. First game of the week, you got West Ham United, 7:30 a.m. kickoff here in the States, but it's West Ham United hosting Chelsea. Chelsea just coming off of 2 back-to-back 0-0 draws. And West Ham, honestly, on paper, a good tie against Newcastle, rolling into this one. You said Moyes isn't going to get fired. I have to assume you're picking West Ham then, right?
God, it's such a fucking insane thing, because like, what gives me any hope to pick Chelsea to win a game? But then simultaneously, why do I think West Ham has any chance of winning either? So I'm just gonna go for a draw.
I did the same thing.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be my only draw of the week, but I feel the same way. I wasn't on the pod when you guys got to talk about the 0-0, right? I'm pretty sure. But just such just desserts, and I know I'm going to have mine coming here in a minute, but spend $600 million and don't score a goal. Love it. I'm going to turn into the biggest Chelsea hater in the world, and if Man City get pinched for any of this shit, I will constantly be pushing to be like, can we look at Chelsea? Can we look at Chelsea? Can we look at Man United? Can we look at any of these teams? It's just us.
The thing is, I don't think it's the same. But I would like to see the other two.
We'll get to it. All right, Arsenal Brentford. I think this is going to be a good game. I need Arsenal to start dropping a ton of points, because I think a 20-point dipper's coming my way. In that case, I'm going to go out on a limb here, man. I'm picking Brentford.
I'm going to pick Arsenal. Because if there's one team that Brentford's not going to upset, it's going to be Arsenal, because they upset them like, what is it, a year ago or 2 years ago? Yeah, and that will never leave their mind.
Yeah, they beat Arsenal 2-0 in 2021.
Oh,
no, it wasn't. It was in August.
Yeah, the Open.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're right. You're absolutely right.
First game of the season.
My bad. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm going with the Bees. Thomas Frank. Give me dropping points for Arsenal.
Oh, wow.
Battle of the Birds. Palace and Brighton. Palace just in some abhorrent form right now.
They're terrible.
Absolutely bad. But yet again in 12th. If people have listened to this pod, I say it every week. Palace is in 12th.
It's so insane.
Yeah, it is the opposite of like finding the mean. I think maybe it is finding the mean. It's just like no matter what happens, they're in 12th. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think they're one of the worst teams in the league right now.
Yeah, at least form-wise. Talent-wise, they shouldn't be, but form-wise, for sure. And then on the other hand, you got Brighton, who have won in all comps 4 of the last 5 games and have beaten Liverpool twice. which is maybe one of the biggest shouts for Brighton in a long time. Therefore, I'm taking Brighton. Michael, who you got?
Brighton, easy. Dude, Kuruma Toma, I literally said, like, I think a month or two ago, that they brought him in. He's going to be unreal just because it's Brighton, and that's just what they do. And here he is just cooking motherfuckers.
I don't think we've mentioned this on the pod, and if we have, Nick brought it up for sure, and I apologize to Nick profusely for not remembering him saying this. It's very well reported, but did you know Matoma did his final thesis?
I did know. You don't have to finish.
On one-on-one dribbling? That's so sick.
You know why I know that? Because every fucking time they play, there's 15 comments from the announcers about it every time he dribbles the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a PhD in dribbling.
Jesus Christ.
There's also a really great, definite Japanese video of, I think it was 3 or 5 professional soccer players against 100 kids just on a field, and he's one of them. And they end up scoring this sick goal off of a cross and shit. I'll send it to you afterwards. It's like the most Japanese thing I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, they ganked that. There's a Liverpool video where it's Coutinho, Firmino, and somebody else who are doing the same thing. It's 100 Liverpool kids playing them.
Love it. All right, Fulham and Nottingham Forest. Fulham hosts Nottingham Forest. Marco Silva, the aforementioned coach of Fulham, they look very good still. And Forest, 30th signing, they actually look pretty decent as well.
Another one that just doesn't make sense. I don't know. I have no faith in picking them for anything, which is why I'm going to go Fulham for this. But somehow they have they're in 14th or 13th or something.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest in 13th. In 13th with a negative 18 goal differential.
So good.
So, don't tell me how that happens, but it does. Southampton hosting Wolves. Wolves coming off of a 3-0 drubbing of your boys. I didn't realize how down tremendously you have to be right now.
Yeah, that's why it's frustrating when you come in here and you talk about how bad you guys are when you're in second. And then I have to sit there and listen to you while I'm in 10th.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll get to it because I can see the last 5 matches you played, but your last 5 match goal differential has to be negative 12, right? Something around there?
I know we're negative 8 in the year of 2023, the year of our Lord and Savior 2023.
I know also that you are bottom of the table, as you mentioned on the last pod, in the year of our Savior 2023 as well.
Yep.
Tough looks.
And our only point is Chelsea.
That's fucking sick. Southampton, Wolves, who you got?
Wolves. I can't pick Southampton.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I also think 3 points for Wolves at this point gets them in a really great position not to have to worry about going down anymore.
This is probably a tie.
Oh, for sure. But
I'm gonna pick Wolves.
I'm over it. All right, Leicester hosting Tottenham. Fox is actually back-to-back wins in all comps, and silently Tottenham 3 wins in a row in all comps and just beat the Pilfers, the criminals of Manchester City 1-0. I don't have any faith in Tottenham. I love Barb Tucker. Draw. I think that's my logic there.
Who did Leicester beat? 4-2 Villa, Walsall 1-0. They drew Brighton, which is actually
three good results.
Yeah, and it's at Leicester. I'll go draw. I'm with the draws.
Yeah, I like the draw.
They're gonna be hung over from Harry Kane's big goal.
Yep.
Or that or he's gonna score 4. I don't know which one.
Yeah. Such a shitty just goal that we gave up. I know I don't get to talk about it because I wasn't on the pod last week, but just so fucking shitty. Bournemouth, they host Newcastle. Usually, home field advantage matters. Not when you're Bournemouth. Not at all. But Newcastle does have a propensity to not win. But I guess I'm gonna go
10 draws.
10 draws. They have as many draws as they do wins. Only one loss. Insanity.
That's crazy.
And it was to Liverpool.
Yep.
But I'm gonna take Newcastle. I think that's a safe pick. That's a smart pick.
Newcastle,
Obviously.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Leeds and Man United. They do it again. They bring it back. I think this time, I mean, it's at Ellen Road. You'd think maybe Leeds gets a dub because they tied them at the theater of whatever the fuck.
Dreams, dude. Dreams.
No, I'm sure that they're
Theater
just paying
screen.
people off too. Yeah,
This
whatever.
is also, I just want to say, because I know exactly where you're going with this. This is such, like, lizard brain analysis. Like, oh, draw at United, going home now. You think that they get the win. They're going to get crushed. United's going to win this.
Yeah. I think the only people that believe in Leeds are like the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the soccer world. Like they're back in Leeds hard.
I know you can't see me, but United are going to crush this game.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
gonna
for sure.
kill it. Yeah,
So I think I said this
gotcha.
last time too, but this time for sure they got it.
Yeah, they would never.
They would
would
never drop points twice in a row
Leeds.
to Leeds.
To Leeds.
No chance.
To 18th. What did I say? 18th place or no? 16th place
16th.
Leeds. Whew. That
No
could
chance.
never be United.
No
that could
chance.
never be United.
They're different now. They're back.
Hey, United's back and they're built different.
They are.
They are. Let's skip City for now and let's go right into Liverpool Everton.
Please,
Merseyside-
God, please let us win just this one. Please let us win.
A Merseyside derby that snuck up on us here. Look,
God.
it's dire out here when over the last 5 games, the only difference between Liverpool and Everton is 1 point.
I'm yawning
tough.
because I'm so tired from the day, but I'm also tearing up from the yawn, and that's not from the yawn, actually. It's because I can't imagine having to watch this fucking game.
Quick fun stat: Everton in 18th place, but only 4 wins behind Liverpool.
Cool. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a rat's ass.
Hell yeah!
All right, let me just say this. Henderson has to play, even though he's dog shit. We need a vocal leader. I think you put Fabinho back in, and I think you run Fabinho, Henderson, and Stefan Baccetic out there. No Thiago, he's been horrible. Salah, you have to play. Darwin, you have to play. Gakpo, you have to play. Poor guy just got a house not too long ago. He's been in a goddamn hotel this whole time.
The new house bump.
Maybe. I sure hope
New house
so.
bump.
Robertson, Trent,
Yeah.
center back. Man, I don't know. I really don't. Because Matip was horrible last game. Gomez was not much better. I'm almost tempted to play Thiago and put Fabinho at center back.
Fabinho might be out. He has an illness.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, he was out last game with an illness. I think he's probably fine. We've had
Is he
9
back
days.
now? Okay. Yeah, true.
If I'm picking legit center backs, I think it's Gomez and I think it's Nat Phillips.
Whew.
He'll give us heart and soul.
This is your dad's Brendan Rodgers' Liverpool.
Oh, yeah.
Like FC now. This is tough.
This is the equivalent of your father's root beer, the drink, knowing that if you have one game, like one alcoholic drink of that concoction, that you will for sure be hungover the next day. You will feel terrible that you even made that decision. To put Nat Phillips at center back.
Does LeBron breaking the all-time scoring record in the NBA help or hurt Liverpool's chances to win this game?
I'd love to say it helps. Can we wear the new LeBron kits?
You should. You gotta switch up the juju somehow, right?
We really should wear those. Like this would be like the perfect time to wear them.
Back in black.
Dude. They would look terrible as jerseys, but
Oh, it's awful.
That man, I don't know. This is well, I think that I saw a thing where like every time he breaks some milestone, they lose the game. So this is actually perfect that we lose this game. So we can't lose. If we draw, we at least split points on the year with Everton, which I mean
Yep.
makes me want to throw up. But it's not if we drop 4 to Everton, like that's horrible, and it would be a loss at home to Everton.
If Everton wins this game, right now, sitting on 18 points in 18th, if they win this game, now they're at 21, and all of a sudden they're up in like 14th place. Do they get relegated this year?
If they beat us at home,
yeah,
they don't get relegated.
All right, you heard it here first.
Oh, they have Deitch. I'm so scared of this game. Oh my god, I forgot they had him. I forgot
one of the greatest. I mean, Nick said signing of the year.
I've never been more scared of my life.
All right, let's talk about some actual fears in the Whittaker household. Man City hosting Aston Villa, which is like the most amazing serendipitous game to have happen after it just comes out that we've committed grand larceny or whatever the fuck. It always seems to be Aston Villa that gets us at a time where we're most vulnerable or whatever. I don't even know. Look, by the way, I also have Liverpool last game. I didn't say it on the pod, but picking Liverpool. I'm picking Man City in this one. But I think the distractions will be aplenty. And I'm not an excuses guy, but if there's ever an excuse not to win a game, I think they probably have one here. What do you think?
I think you guys will win this game. I want to just point out to you, and I guess they got the draw from you this year in September. You've played Villa 23 matches. You've won 18, drawn 2, and lost 3.
You lose so infrequent though that when they have 3 losses against a team, it just really reels with you.
You are just such a like. If you lose a game, it's just that team's your bogey team for like the next 5 years.
Fair, but the one bogey team we do have is Tottenham at Tottenham.
Yes.
No goals in 4 matches is insanity.
Yeah. Also, like the Wolves thing is kind of what I'm talking about more, but
yeah, no, I know.
You guys are gonna win this game. I think the excuse factory. I don't personally believe that so much.
Mm-hmm.
So, I got you guys.
All right, let's get into the thing that we actually want to talk about, the juicy goss. Man City could possibly be kicked out of the footballing league, kicked out of the Premier League, and then the EFL the FA or whomever, the EFL, FA, whoever, doesn't have to take them in. So then we'd be a non-league side. We could get docked points, and in this season, which then would give Arsenal the win. And we also could get our prior season's results vacated, and Liverpool gets 3 championships, 3 Premier Leagues. Man United gets 3 Premier Leagues. Klopp now doesn't look like as much of a 1 championship, 1 Premier League type guy. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wins a Premier League, which is the most ridiculous fucking portion of all of this. But, Michael, you're a level-headed human. You usually have my back. You love me. We're brothers. You're my best man at my wedding.
First of all,
what's your take on all this stuff? You know.
First of all, don't ever insinuate that Klopp is anything less than one of the best managers in the world
of all time at Liverpool, though.
Like he's won everything you could win.
Once.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just asking.
Cool. I mean, has your manager won everything there is to win at your club?
There is one that keeps eluding us, but I don't remember what it is.
Yeah.
So
actually, you haven't won a Club World Cup either, so fuck off.
Oh, God. Yeah. Pep has, though.
Yeah, not at your club, though. Why do you care about...
I was talking about Klopp, not Liverpool.
And then you said Klopp. At your club.
I was asking, is he an all-time great at
Absolutely.
Liverpool? You think so?
He might be the all-time great.
I think there's some actual people from Liverpool that would probably argue with you on that one.
I think it's arguable. I think it's just as arguable that he is one of the all-time greats.
All right.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
Let's go into this Man City business. All that flowery comments or compliments I gave you before we jumped into this.
So
your take on Man City.
Here's what I'll say. I think you seem to think that the worst you're going to get is a points deduction.
Oh my God, no. Go ahead though.
Okay. I think the vacation of previous trophies is not going to happen. I don't think it should happen either. However, I do think, because we've talked about this already a little bit,
yep.
and I want to tease out your position on this, because I think it's a really bad position to have as to why you think it shouldn't, the vacation should not happen.
Vacating.
Whatever. The vacation of the trophies are going on vacation. So
yeah, okay, I got you.
Because you're like, I know who won the trophies. I saw it with my eyes.
Yeah.
We won the trophies.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone is arguing that with you.
Yeah.
I think that you're missing the point when people say you won the trophies, and in winning those trophies, you cheated.
Sure.
So that is. So then my question, I would be like, okay, so then what do you say about that? Do you just not care?
No, I mean, I valid that. I think I think my mind works as someone who played sports. It doesn't matter. It does matter. It does matter. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. The technicalities that people are going to say that we cheated, which we may have, I think we probably did. I truly do. I think that there's probably some shitty bookkeeping going on. And
shitty as in they just kind of fumbled the bag, not insidious.
No, I think shitty as in on purpose.
For sure. To the purpose of cooking the books.
Yeah, insidious, if you want to use that word. Insidious, sure. Yes, sure. I think that did happen. I think points deduction is not what I think is going to happen. I actually think we're going to get kicked out. I think it's weird, though. We make a decent amount of money for the Premier League, as is. I know we get this name for the empty ad. We're like the 8th highest attendance in the league, like whatever. That's a whole different story. Yeah, we are. I know you're gonna look it up. We're maybe 8 to 12, somewhere around there.
8 to 12. 5 teams that could be there.
Hey, we're mid-table, and it's a pretty big stadium. What I'm saying, and this is a long point getting longer, is I played sports. I could have cared less once the ball was placed between the lines, how those players got there. If I lost, I lost. And I think it's just like the most ridiculous thing to celebrate. Like if a Man United fan or a Liverpool fan in good conscience adds 3 Premier League titles to their count, I think it's hilarious. I'm like, all right, cool. Sure. Go ahead. I think less of that person. Because your team had an opportunity to win it on the field and you didn't. We did win it on the field. But
hold on. So you did win it on the field, but were the people on the field winning it there appropriately?
And I just said that right before. Once the ball is put in play, once first pitch happens, once kickoff happens, I don't care as a competitor and as an athlete how those players got there. It's not. I don't give up a goal.
Right, but I'm not asking.
Hold on. I don't give up a goal to, who do we want to say here? Sergio Aguero, and then run over to the ref and be like, but you don't understand. He's on a different type of contract. They're paying him under the table. He shouldn't be here. That's not my thought process. So I think it is. It's hilarious if you're going to add these.
I don't think anybody is ever sitting there going like, putting the onus on like Kevin De Bruyne. Like I don't think anybody sits there and goes like, oh, well, Kevin De Bruyne is a bad person, or
sure.
He shouldn't be there or whatever else. I think it always goes back to the club and the people who are writing that stuff up and, cooking the books and doing whatever else. And I think that when you say, well, I'm not thinking about all that stuff, I'm just thinking on the field. Well, sure, on the field, you won, of course.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
not what anybody is talking about. Literally,
I know.
no one is debating that.
I'm not sitting here telling you that my point of view is the right one. I'm sitting here telling you my point of view is the
Right.
one I have.
But what I'm saying is that it's like everybody's having a discussion,
Yeah.
and then you're having a separate discussion over here, and everyone looks at
Yeah.
you and goes, "That's not what we're talking about, though." And
For
then you
sure.
go, idiots, idiots,
Look,
idiots.
I'm getting a perfect example of this in my own personal life. If you just ignore something, you don't ever have to face it. We know some people doing that right now. So
Right, but I guess yeah, like you're not even so much as ignoring it. You're just so much like changing the subject.
for sure, but it is ignoring. It's a form of ignoring.
You're like, man, like these taxes, like my apartment is like very expensive, and you go, oh yeah, like my apartment, like two people are talking about like the expense of an apartment, and you're like, oh, I know, like bagels are so much money here in New York, and it's just
I
like,
can't.
yeah,
Have you seen the price of eggs lately? What
I
the
guess
fuck?
so, man. I
Yeah.
don't know what to tell you.
I mean,
I think you guys get kicked out. I think you guys go to
Yeah.
the championship.
Oh, I don't think they. Do you think they take us?
Yeah,
That'd be nice.
it's a great, as fucked up as it is. It's like a great story.
Okay, we go to the championship. Let's go into your alternate universe because we've just established that, not being able to man up and answer a question or ignoring something is pretty childish. In your alternate universe, we go to the championship. Who stays and who goes? Not player wise. Don't.
Oh,
I think
Pep's,
all players.
Pep's gone. If you go to the championship,
Yeah.
Pep's gone for sure.
I think all the players go. I'm not worried about that.
All the
I'm
players.
I don't think a single one of those players that has put in time this year will go to the championship. Why would they? That's prime years that they want. Everyone on that team that has played this year wants to play in the Champions League. That is now the barometer, it seems like, for transfers and people going places. No shot they stay, dude.
So you lose Holland.
Yeah. I think everyone. I think
I don't know about everybody.
I think so. Pep's
I don't lose
definitely
Rico
gone, though.
Lewis.
Yeah,
Pep's,
I think that's
Pep's
the one.
gone. If it won't come out. I don't think this year. But if it comes out anytime, like this season, Pep's gone.
Yeah, and like I think the one name that you mentioned was the only one on my pad that I was like, yeah, Rico Lewis might stay. He likes chilling in the middle, but at the same time, Rico Lewis is more of a Pep Guardiola player than a Man City player. Like Pep's system will translate somewhere else. Now, I think the interesting thing is I don't think Pep gets another club job. I think he goes right into like national managing.
But here's the other thing too, and I was listening. I don't know. I don't know this, and I don't think you know this either, because again, like the whole debate about this topic is like, you are basically not you. I don't want to keep saying you, but City is basically lying about the amount of money that they're bringing in.
Mhm.
Okay, so when I look at like the revenue numbers, and like of all the clubs, it's always United, Liverpool, City, somewhere in that order. I think this year we actually made more revenue than United did, who has always been number one. It's so incredibly frustrating as a Liverpool fan to see those numbers over the past however many years. Not even just this past year, because this past summer window has been horrible for us and it sucked and just been shitty. But like to see that, and then to see like Chelsea, who we make more money than, bringing more revenue, United, who we're on par with, you guys, et cetera, et cetera. That's why when you bring up like the United and the Chelsea, like I want to look at them. Well, are they actually bringing in the revenue that you guys claim that you're bringing in? Because then in that case, like maybe they're fine.
I think if you want to get actual like financial on this, and I explained, like I love Alexis so much, right? So this
do too.
news drops Thank you. This news drops, and I'm telling her, and I'm trying to explain to her like what could have happened, and I basically say like, look, when you're owned by a state-run entity, and your main sponsor, for example, is that state-run entity's biggest company, it's easy to claim that, hey, how much did that sponsorship with Etihad, how much did they pay you? And I said, they could sit here and be like $1 billion. Then that would mean that we get to spend, what, $800 million on transfers. I think that United would actually be really, really hard to mess up those books because it is a publicly traded company.
Uh-huh.
That's like, if those books are messed up and something fraudulent happens there, not only are they going to have to deal with the repercussions within the footballing system, that people are going to jail. Like, people are definitely going to jail because that's whatever. I'm not giving a pass to Chelsea. They're run by an oligarch, which is 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. I understand where my owner is from and that he's not a good guy and that, XYZ. Chelsea fans don't ever look at me like you're high and mighty now that you have an American running you. The guy that was running you before was a Putin apologist and, XYZ. I'd love to go look at those books. I think this is a really, really big warning shot for Newcastle, right?
Uh-huh.
Just because it's the same situation, like the Saudis, they're going to go chop up a reporter. They're going to definitely pay a little extra over the top for a certain player at whatever. And we mentioned this team earlier. It's early, but Ryan Reynolds, that Aviation Gin sponsorship, don't say that they paid you $50 million when it was only 20 because you're going to get found out, man. Just don't do it. It's not worth it.
I think it's harder at that level because like there isn't anywhere to put it. Like dude, $30 million in a non-league team just like materialized,
Yeah,
it would
true.
it'd be fucking crazy.
Very true, very true. But I think you can do it on small margins where it's like, hey, we got $3 million here. You could pick up 2 players pretty easily that are going to change that team. But to go back, I think Pep's gone, but I do think that parts of this ownership stay, and I think that there'll still be money, and I think at some point they probably get out of the championship. Or the thing that'll really kill them is if the FA just doesn't let them in it, like doesn't admit them into the Championship, League 1, League 2, anything like that. If it's a Phoenix club, it's kind of over, obviously.
Well, this is the other thing too. I was just thinking because think about how many people you have under contract.
Yeah.
Okay. If you got sent down, and say like just for whatever, say you get sent down to the championship, and then you also got fined some amount of money that forced you to sell players.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know what that number is because like I don't actually know how. And again, this isn't a dig. I don't know how much you guys actually have or are bringing in or whatever.
I don't think anyone does.
Well, but I'm just saying like some amount of money that would force you to get rid of people, right? Because I'm sitting there thinking if I'm you guys, and if I get sent down to the championship, I'm at least keeping people for a season so that I get back to the Premier League.
Yeah, but dude,
I
empowerment.
I understand player power, but dude, like I don't know. Like I don't. If I'm them, I'm sitting there going, "Listen, you made a commitment, whatever." The other thing too is like I guess you could sit there and say, "Well, the players didn't have any, they had no idea that any of this shit was going on. So why is it on them?" Which I totally agree with, by the way.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I'm just saying strictly from a like, we need to get back to the Premier League because like I'm not 100% sure if you get rid of everybody. And then you have to bring new people in the championship or something like that you immediately go back up.
Oh, I don't think so at all. I think the championship's probably the hardest division to get a promotion out of. And
that's non-league.
Yeah. It's probably non-league 1 and then championship 2. It's somewhere around there. But
I watched the FX series. Non-league is the hardest to get out of.
it's the hardest. But I think that even like I'm thinking in my head who would be the easiest to convince player-wise to stay. I think you start with Foden because he's from there, but I think he more than anyone is young still and wants to win a Champions League. And wants to go somewhere where they're going to play Champions League football and win a Champions League. I think number 2 is probably someone like a Gundogan, who's at the tail end of his career and has been here a long time. But again, didn't win a Champions League with Dortmund, didn't win a Champions League with us. He's got probably 3 years left.
He's one of the people too that you let go.
Yeah.
You probably let De Bruyne go because he's De Bruyne.
Got to. He's not staying.
I'm not letting Haaland go. You're out of your fucking mind if you think I'm letting him go.
Michael, he just won't show up.
What do you mean he won't show up?
I don't know. If I was Haaland, I don't want to spend a year in the championship.
He would score 100 goals. It'd be so much fun.
Yes, dude. As a fan, it'd be awesome. It'd be hilarious.
No, I'm saying
so
for him,
fun.
I would have so much fun if I was just banging in goals.
Michael, you're about to be a pharmacist. I work in tech. We're built different than those guys. He doesn't want to score 100 goals in the championship. He wants to score 22 meaningful goals in the Champions League. Like, it's just not. We'd sell everyone. Everyone would be gone. Or we'd be loaning people the fuck out, hoping that we'd bounce right back up. I think the interesting...
That's actually more likely, I think.
Yes, I think the more interesting question is Pep's gone. Burnley gets promoted. If you're Vinny, do you leave Burnley?
So Company is coming up. He's in the Prem. You guys get sent down.
Yeah.
You asking if he goes to City? No.
Yeah.
Stays with Burnley.
I don't know, man.
I think you get Torre.
Have you seen his record?
Yeah, but he's gonna have unlimited money.
No, he won't.
Yeah, because you guys just can't. I mean, for him, yeah, you guys just can't do exactly what you did before. Also, I guess I want to at least get this on the record too. I want to ask you because the Premier League. What is this, a 4-year investigation?
Mm-hmm.
What are the odds that you're guilty? Do you think?
Like me personally,
100. What is it? 113 counts.
Yeah.
Over 9 seasons. What do you? What are the odds you think that you are going to be found guilty? Just in general. I'm not asking for a punishment.
Yeah, I'll throw numbers out there. I think we're probably going to be found guilty around 60 to 70 of these counts. And I think it's a 98% chance that something happens to us.
Well, if you're found guilty of any of them, something will happen.
Well, I know, but I'm saying even if it's 10, something's going to happen. I'm sure something will happen to us. And it's hard to do this from America, right? It's hard to do this from the US. But every city, creator, personality, like puts out any type of media. I called you and talked to you about this. Dude, they're fucking scared. Not scared, they just think it's going to happen. Scared's not the right word. I shouldn't have said that. They're not scared.
I think it's a beautiful place to be where every team that you would view as like your equal or on the same level and skill or like how much money you're bringing in potentially or how much you win or whatever is sitting here going, there's nothing's going to happen. It's just going to be the same shit. Nothing's going to happen. And you guys saying, we're so fucked.
Yeah. I mean, I go back, and you might not know this story because it's before I was even born. But I feel like that's how college football felt before SMU. Everyone in college football is like, nothing's going to happen to SMU. And all of a sudden, they get a death penalty, and then something does happen. And now SMU still plays in fucking Conference USA and has June Jones as their head coach and not competing for a national championship.
Well, I was definitely too young because I don't even remember when they were good.
Yeah, it was before you were born because it was before I was born.
So the other thing too is I think for I hate to say this. I think for the sake of the sport, you guys, if this is true, by the way, and I always want to put that caveat because you guys put out the statement where it's like, "Oh, please please investigate us.
Yeah.
Like we're begging you to do it. Yeah, bring it."
Yeah.
I've watched. There's so many Chelsea content creators, and I've watched them talk about how this is ridiculous and the complete. And it is not everybody. Because I've listened to some people who are pretty level-headed. The complete lack of self-awareness when it comes to not even like doing the same thing because they did. It's not the same thing. Cooking the books and spending a fucking absurd amount of money are not equal things.
Yeah.
But it feels like it. It sure feels like they're the same. And it doesn't feel good either way.
Yeah.
And that is the only part of me that thinks vacate trophy. That's
they
the
don't
only
even win
part.
any. Chelsea doesn't even win anything if that happens.
No, but I'm not even saying that.
I know.
I'm just saying that it feels like again. I know I have a stake in this because it's the Liverpool.
Mm. Yeah.
But I'm also giving United 3 trophies, which I don't feel great about. So
you're also giving Sheffield United a trophy. They're
shit.
getting the Carabao Cup.
Tottenham
gets their first trophy.
Is that with Homeboy still coaching Sheffield United?
Well, Wilder.
Oh yeah, that actually changes the whole thing for me.
No, I don't think it was actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only part where it does just on a human level make me think this is bullshit that you guys won this shit while you're cheating. If you were doing things that made it easier for you to get good players consistently across many years and to construct the team you constructed, it makes me part of me and a small part of me feel like this is bullshit.
Yeah. Also, just real quick to correct myself, you don't have to worry about Wilder getting one. It wasn't Sheffield; it was Sunderland, which is a nice story. That's a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate Sunderland.
Yeah, I mean, I've come to realize with the almost 3 years that we've done this, that we were all in a consensus of hate. I think Nick is in this, and I think Dylan doesn't hate anyone, but might be. I think we all just hate Chelsea.
I hate Chelsea because part of me is jealous that they get the constant serotonin that they do by signing people. But then also when shit does not work out, like when you sign Lukaku and it doesn't work out, the joy I get from that is unmatched. Yeah. So it kind of evens itself out. Like you spent all that money and Kai Havertz is still your striker. That's pretty funny. But it is it doesn't feel good. And I'm not saying it's unfair or any Chelsea fan should. I'm you should be ashamed of yourself. You had nothing to fucking do with it, obviously. Yeah. But it just doesn't feel good as somebody watching.
You have not asked me the question I thought that you would ask me.
What's that?
Which is always a fun question. If Man City goes down, I'll always be. Excuse me. If Man City goes down, I'll always be a Man City fan. But
I know the question. I know the answer to this.
But the people at home don't.
Oh. Sorry, I didn't get the notes. You didn't mean to prompt you this question.
You're not playing to the crowd.
Okay. John. Okay, hold on. Wait, I have a question. If City goes down,
yeah,
and I know you'll still support them. I know you'll still watch every championship game.
Or out of league games. I don't know how to get those, but
those are tough.
Even
Ryan Reynolds couldn't get them to get a TV contract, so I don't think you're gonna be able to. Yeah. Who will you support in the Premier League?
Well, Michael and I already talked about this. I
Great
know
question.
He knows this
Great
answer.
question, by the way.
Great
Completely
question.
original.
Yeah, you should win a Pulitzer. I probably end up being a Crystal Palace fan.
God, what a time to be a Crystal Palace fan. No, that's not true. That's not true. You'd be a Burnley fan.
Ooh. Yeah.
Because they're coming up. They're coming up for
if
sure.
they go up.
They're coming up for sure. It's them and United are coming up, Sheffield.
Yeah, I think that does settle it. Burnley fan and I still flirt on the side with Palace and Arsenal.
Well, the fucked up thing too is like I remember last year, obviously, like I hated Burnley.
Yeah.
Like I've hated them for years and years, and then like
Yeah.
Vinny's got them playing like pretty fire a little bit, so it's just at least a better watch. It's the same thing I had with Fulham. Like I hated Fulham when they were in the Prem. They got sent down, came back up. Now I kind of like them.
Yeah. Well, Burnley's jerseys are so much better this year than they've ever been too.
There you go, dude. Feel good.
Which are fucking
Look
sick.
good, feel good, play good.
Absolutely. All right. Dylan didn't give us any bets, so we're gonna have to wait till next week on that.
I do also, real quick, I do want to point this out. I actually, to go back to our prediction, the Leeds Man United prediction, I hope a meteor strikes the field of play, and that game never happens for the straight injustice that was done to me today, where I have on FanDuel.
So wait. But before you say it, no one harmed, no one dying. Just tear the field up, meteor. Right? Like we're not.
No.
Yeah, just no game, delayed game.
Oh no! I'm saying no. I don't want that. I want harm to be done.
Oh my God! This podcast. As I remind most listeners, this podcast is a parody.
You'll understand why you'll be on my side, but I have a free bet, a free $10 bet. Just I just burned a hole in my pocket basically, and I put it on United, down 1-0, 130, I think 140, and then I say, well, Leeds is still 185 to win this game, and they're up a goal. So let me put my actual money on Leeds, because if I win that, it'll be a bigger payout. And if I lose that, I'll make the money back on the free bet, plus like a couple bucks. So
called a hedge.
Yes, I'm hedging myself. I still want Leeds to win, obviously. Get that second goal. I'm like, oh man, I might put more on United now, but I don't. I was hoping my dad buy a car. My phone dies, so I don't get to follow. I'm texting the group, who's winning? Someone tell me who's winning, because I'm sitting there. I got $15 total on the line. I'm dying. Okay? And I get in the car to charge my phone, and I go, just don't be a tie. Just don't be a tie. Anything but a fucking tie. And it pops up 2-2, and I scream. I'm alone in the car, and I just let out one of those, ah! And I'm shaking the phone in my hand, and I text Nick, and I go, I fucking hate you guys. I hate you. I hate Leeds. I'm anti-Weston McKennie now. He's dead to me. I'm sure he had something to do with that goal.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm not gonna check. No, he came off in the 90th minute, I think.
Oh damn.
I'm not gonna check. The truth, I want it to exist in my head to make my point.
Bad beat, Michael. But again, I will reiterate: the NAFTA podcast does not want any bodily harm to happen to any fan, any player, any coach, any spectator at a soccer game.
You guys can't see me, but John can. He can vouch for me. I don't want any harm to be done to anybody.
It's a parody podcast. Thank you. Do you got a joke?
Fuck no, dude. My betting is a joke.
Hey. Great outro. Cheers.
The NAFTA podcast.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.